What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having an amazing day. Today we're tackling one of the most asked questions I see, which is how to find my photography style. Roll that intro, let's find out. Okay, but first let's figure out what a photography style actually is. So basically, when you look at some of your favorite photographers, whoever they may be, you may notice that all their images have a similar look and feel to them. You can see a photo on the internet or in a gallery or wherever, and you pretty much know right away, oh, this person took that picture. That looks like Brandon Wolfel, for example. That looks like Peter McKinnon. Anybody. They each have their own signature style, and that comes through in their photos. Now, how do you figure that out for yourself? And especially if you're just starting out, you may find that none of your photos really blend together and there's a lot going on and you don't really feel like there's cohesion there. And that's okay. It took me years to figure out my own style, and that's still evolving today. And the easiest way to figure this out is take lots of photos and then take more photos, and then once you think you've taken enough photos, take more. Still, seriously, this does not happen overnight, and it's not an easy thing to do. This style can't be taught. I can't sit here and tell you guys, okay, you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, and voila, you have a style. It doesn't work like that. It's your own unique voice and learning how to tap into that. Now, while I can't teach you your style, I can give you the tools to start you down the journey of figuring that out for yourself. Your photographic style is a process that evolves over time and never stops evolving. My style now is different than it was 2 years ago, and 2 years from now it'll be different than what it is right now. And style is not a technique. There are a bunch of techniques that can come together, and the way you use them can help identify your style, but a technique can be taught and style simply can't. For example, a technique is shooting down from the left. Now, that's not a style. It might be something you do a lot, but that doesn't necessarily identify your style. Because what if you're using a wide lens? What if you're using a telephoto lens? What is the light like? All of these things come together to create your style. If you use natural light, how do you use natural light? Do you use it different than somebody else? If you use artificial light, how do you use that? All of these things come together. It's not one thing. It's a combination of a bunch of things that you learn over time and how you use those, whether you like having a really shallow depth of field shooting at 1.2, or you like having a bit more in focus if you like shooting at f4, 5.6, etc. Or if you like your photos to be more moody, or if you like them to be bright and airy. These are all things that help identify you as a photographer. Photographers around you and think, oh, that person has a really nice style, I really like their photos, I want my photos to look like that. And well, that is perfectly okay, because that isn't your own unique voice. You're just kind of creating a carbon copy of what somebody else has already done. And that doesn't set you apart from anybody else. Your style, your voice makes you different. And that's why people charge so much for photography, because they are different, not because they are better. Now, with these photographers, you can take inspiration from them. Like, you may see a general way that they shoot, but then you can take that and put your own spin on it, put your own creative twist on it, and make it your own. That's really taking inspiration from that and creating something new out of it, instead of just creating the same thing that they're already doing, because then you won't be innovating at all. You won't be creating anything different or unique. You'll just be creating whatever the next person does. So how did I find my style? Well, I always had a camera with me, especially when I was just starting out, and I would shoot anything and everything to figure out what I liked and what I gravitated towards most. And for me, that ended up being people and fashion and stories. Whether it's capturing stories or creating stories, there's a human element in there for me which I connect to on a deep level. And the more that I leaned into that, the more I began to play with things like different lenses and focal lengths and lighting and how I would light somebody or a scene or anything. And that's how you know you're on the right path. It makes you just want to create more and more and more. And then by the end of it, you look and all your photos seem to flow into one another. Not that they look the same necessarily, but there's a consistent feel and look throughout them all that helps to define you as an artist. This process doesn't happen overnight either. It took me a long time to get to where I am now, to find my style, and I tried a lot of things that didn't work. And even I'm guilty of copying other photographers, but in the end I realized that wasn't helping me, and that wasn't being true to myself. So once I learned how to tap into that and started creating what excited me most and what I loved to see, and what I would keep going back to, that's when I began to realize what my style was. So if I can leave you with anything, shoot lots, take a lot of photos, make a lot of mistakes, because in the end, you will only benefit from it. And then in a couple years, you'll look back and start to see a consistent pattern in your work. And then you'll be able to look at it and say, wow, this is my style, this is who I am. And don't be afraid to play around with things either. If you want to get up close in the action with a wide angle, then do that. If you want to use really dramatic lighting, whether it be LEDs, strobes, anything, do that. If you want to shoot in midday sun, even though everybody tells you not to, do that. Try a bunch of different things and don't be afraid to fail. Because really what it comes down to is your style is a reflection of you as a person. And if you haven't figured out who you are yet, then how can your work have a voice when you yourself don't have one? Take the time, put in the work, and in the end, trust me, it'll be worth it. Now with that all said, thank you guys so much for watching. Show some love to that like button, comment down below if this is the type of thing you want to see, if you want to see more of it in the future, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.